Coming up next here on Eyewitness News Tonight, the party of the century is in full swing tonight in Germany.
I'm Sharon Menchow live from Old Heidelberg, the Hofbrau in Houston. But even an ocean away, folks are celebrating the reunification of Germany. We'll have a live report.
Also, concerned citizens question the effectiveness of the city's new Civilian Police Review Committee, and a hijacked jetliner crashes and burns, killing more than 100 people. These stories and the latest on Oiler running back Mike Rozier coming up next here on Eyewitness News Tonight.
So you just marched into the store?
Oh, I didn't march. I strolled.
And you just what?
Well,
did it?
No. I stood there looking at it for a while, and I thought, you can do this, and you are going to do this, aren't you? So I did.
That's not like you, Ellen.
I know.
When you really want to treat yourself, nothing makes you feel as good as gold. From Zales Jewelers.
14 sales calls, 6 cities, 2 days.
Oh, and don't forget your mother's birthday.
Sanders. Why don't I have his number?
I have a listing for a Sanders Pharmacy on Elm Street.
Can I get delivery in a week?
Well, I'll call the warehouse in Houston. Can I use your phone?
When you travel, nobody has more ways to help you than AT&T.
Hello, Mom. Of course I'm eating right.
For your free card, just dial 1-800-325-4008.
13 Eyewitness News is closed caption for the hearing impaired. You're watching Channel 13, KTRK TV, Houston, #1 in Texas. Eyewitness News with Dave Ward, Marvin Zimler's Action 13, Bob Allen has sports, and Ed Brandon's weather. Now, Channel 13, Eyewitness News Tonight.
With a blaze of fireworks and the pealing of church bells, the two Germanys are now one. Good evening, friends. It's one of the most historic nights of this century. After 45 years of division, there are no longer two Germanys. At the stroke of midnight in Berlin, the German flag was hoisted to crown the unification of a reborn Germany, divided by World War II and the communist Berlin Wall. Tens of thousands of Germans gathered at the foot of the Brandenburg Gate as fireworks showered overhead. Chancellor Helmut Kohl and other leaders stood as the two nations merged as one during the singing of the national anthem. It came less than 11 months after the collapse of the Berlin Wall. A lot of celebrations in Houston tonight. Let's check in with our Sherman Chow for a look at how some Houstonians celebrated this historic day. Sherman?
Hi, Dave. We're at the Old Heidelberg Hofbrau, and you can see a very quiet, unassuming crowd here. They've been busy celebrating since early this evening. At 6 o'clock Houston time, it was midnight in Germany when reunification officially began. We're told there are some 30,000 people of German descent in the Houston area, and it's a very safe bet that most of those people tonight are saying cross, which is, we understand, the loose translation of cheers.
After 45 years of watching a divided Germany, folks here were ready to celebrate. How?
Having an Oktoberfest right now. And
that is a beer.
Drink German beer and listen to some good tunes.
German tunes?
German tunes.
Well, they got their wish. Sort of. Some even sported their best German attire to help with the celebration.
Lederhosen, genuine leather.
Reaching appropriately back into history, one fellow even parodied the famous Kennedy phrase, "Ich bin ein Berliner," I am a Berliner, into
Bin ein Texaner.
There were some sober moments of reflection as well, though.
It is very much an emotional thing, and I remember the old Germany very well, which actually goes back, believe it or not, to Hitler's times, at which time it was still one Germany, and I personally never thought I would see a united Germany in my lifetime.
And that, of course, is a concern for many, that a reunified Germany poses a very formidable force, if not a military, then perhaps an economic threat. Tomorrow morning, the Council of West Germany, the new Council General of the reunified Germany will join us at 7 a.m. on Eyewitness News to share some thoughts about that. And, of course, though, most thoughts tonight seem to be focused on celebrating. Dave?
Okay, looks like quite a celebration. Thank you, Sherman. The first full-fledged meeting of Houston's new Citizens Police Review Committee was held tonight, but citizen turnout was less than expected. Those who did show up appeared less than satisfied with the review committee as a whole. Carlos Aguilar is standing by live in our newsroom now with more details. Carlos?
Dave, it seems that after being appointed by the mayor back in July, the Citizens Review Committee disappeared. And some citizens who wanted to report some cases of alleged police brutality say they couldn't find them. But tonight, the committee met to talk about what they've been doing.
Based on what I read, I think the police officer was justified in firing his pistol.
Since August, the 21-member Houston Citizens Review Committee has been going over cases involving police officers' behavior. They've been split into 3 panels with 7 members each. They are charged with reviewing cases where Houston police may have used excessive force, caused bodily injury, and discharged a firearm. They also investigate officers upon request of the police chief. But the Citizens Review Committee only reviews cases already investigated by the Police Internal Affairs Department. The Citizens Review Committee was formed in the wake of 2 fatal shootings of citizens by Houston police officers. Almost a year ago in October, Ida Lee Delaney was killed in a chase and shootout with some off-duty Houston police officers. Almost a month later, Byron Gillum was gunned down by a Houston officer after being stopped for a routine traffic check. The officer said he feared for his life.
Part of the initial orientation.
This was the first public forum held by the Citizens Review Committee. It was billed as an opportunity for citizens to comment and to find out more about its members and what they do. But some citizens who attended said there was little publicity about this meeting, and they criticized the committee for not being made up of citizens who most often come in contact with police. Houston Police Chief Elizabeth Watson said the Citizens Review Committee has helped her in the decision-making in disciplining officers. Still, citizens who feel they've been victims of police brutality are being asked to file formal complaints with the Police Department Internal Affairs. At this point, the Citizens Review Committee is not structured to conduct independent investigations, something some in the community still want. Dave?
Well, Carlos, will they hold more public meetings like this, and will they promote them a little more? Let more advertising be known about it.
The panel did tell some of the citizens after the citizens suggested that maybe this committee needs to go out into the neighborhood. So the panel decided, okay, we'll do that in the future. And I think they need to publicize these things a little bit more. This one sort of came as a surprise to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Carlos. Well, there's some conflicting stories tonight about the surrender of that accused police impersonator, John Franklin Bailey. A published report quotes the family as saying that Bailey tried to surrender several times to authorities while in New Braunfels, but no law enforcement agencies would pick him up. Well, according to the Harris County Sheriff's Department, that is just not the case. In fact, they say it wasn't Bailey's idea to surrender at all.
The family is the one that wanted to give him up. However, they had conditions on that. They wanted to have one certain detective accompany them to Austin, Texas, not New Braunfels, and wouldn't disclose his location in Austin until they arrived.
Well, Diaz says Bailey is dangerous, and authorities would not agree to those conditions. On Friday, Bailey did surrender. His attorney says Bailey is just misunderstood.
He's one of my favorite clients.
Why do you say that?
Very friendly. Never have any difficulties with him.
I don't think that the victims that were at the other end of the gun are going to think that Mr. Bailey was all that friendly.
Authorities say Bailey, who impersonated police officers, may have been involved in more than 24 armed robberies, 1 kidnapping, and the sexual abuse of a child. Still ahead, the president rallies public support for his deficit deal, and Chinese officials look for answers in today's deadly crash of a hijacked airliner.
Today, Robert Hernandez, an HL&P meter reader, will encounter 9 ferocious animals, 3 ninja warriors, and 10 booby traps. But he's more concerned about an 80-year-old woman whose home needs repair.
Looks like you used some help.
My window needs fixing.
Robert is part of the Gatekeeper program, designed to keep an eye out for the elderly.
He says an agency may be able to help me with the repairs. I didn't think anybody cared.
Gatekeepers, because at the Light Company, we care.
When you move with style, you tango. And when your style is value, you move to the new 1991 Mercury Tracer. It's sleek. It's got more room than Civic, Sentra, and Corolla. lots of standard features, and a powerful engine, all for just $93.86. So tango to the new Tracer from Mercury.
Nothing moves you like a Mercury.
This has been bothering me for 10 years. There's been this huge misconception about me, but I was very embarrassed and afraid to admit what was really going on, which was...
Wednesday on Good Morning Houston, actress Jeannie Francis reveals the real reason behind her leaving General Hospital during the height of her soap opera career.
Trim Trends features a look at preparations for the Ironman Triathlon.
And new looks for long hair. That and more Wednesday on Good Morning Houston. Join us.
Investigators in China probing through the twisted metal and debris of 3 jetliners tonight. A hijacked Chinese jetliner cartwheeled into 2 parked jets, setting off an explosion that killed 127 people, injured around 50 others. It happened in Canton, China. Witnesses tell conflicting accounts of what happened. One is that 2 Chinese hijackers wanted the plane to fly to Hong Kong, and when it landed in Canton, the men exploded a bomb on board. The other story is that a fight broke out in the cockpit as the plane was landing, and that caused it to careen into the other 2 jets. President Bush made a special appeal to the American public tonight to support the $500 billion budget reduction plan, the largest deficit-reducing package in history. The bill, agreed upon by the president and a bipartisan congressional team, would increase tax revenue by $134 billion and cut spending by $105 billion over the next 5 years. The president admitted it isn't perfect, but he says it's the best chance America has of surviving an economic crisis.
And if we fail to act, next year alone, we will face a federal budget deficit of more than $300 billion, a deficit that could weaken our economy further and cost us thousands of precious jobs.
The bill includes higher taxes on cigarettes, liquor, gasoline, and luxury items. It would also dip into Medicare, but Social Security will not be touched. Mr. Bush asked the American people to convince their congressmen to support the plan. Many in Congress fear a yes vote means political suicide so close to the elections. Lawmakers must vote on the bill by Friday. Nation has a new Supreme Court justice tonight. As expected, the Senate confirmed the nomination of Judge David Souter. The vote, 90-9. And the few who voted against him did so because they fear he'll turn back abortion rights. Souter is viewed as a conservative, and during confirmation hearings, he tiptoed around the issue of abortion. But he's also been praised as having a great legal mind. At 51 years old, Souter will have a hand in rulings that will affect Americans well into the next century. Action 13's Marvin Zendler tonight finds medical help for a little baby boy. The state of Texas refused to help the child.
The mother and father wrote me, and I quote, "Marvin, it's really a big disappointment, a real blow that our son is being denied help because of $1,000, unquote. Here's the story." That's a mighty big yawn for such a little tyke. Christopher Caldwell is 2 months old. He's normal in every way except for his severe cleft lip and cleft palate. A birth defect that affects 1 in 1,000. A birth defect that can be corrected if you have the money. Christopher's family doesn't. His father is a contract carpet installer who doesn't have insurance. His mother works, but her insurance doesn't cover little Christopher. When Christopher was born, what did the doctor tell you when he knew the youngster had a cleft palate?
Just that he was going to have several surgeries, and he gave us some doctors. He recommended us to some doctors, and that was basically it.
The Caldwells took Christopher to a plastic surgeon.
We told him that we did not have the money to have this taken care of, so he recommended us to Crippled Children's. After we filled out the application and sent it in, about 6 weeks later, we received a phone call, and they told us that we were denied help because we made $1,000 over their qualified limit.
Can you imagine this baby being denied a normal life because the state says his family makes $1,000 too much? This just can't be allowed to happen. I showed reconstructive surgeon Dr. Joe Agris little Christopher's picture and explained how he fell into a bureaucratic crack. Dr. Agris, I hate to keep coming back to you and also Dr. Melvin Sparta asking to take care of these youngsters, but here's a young fellow that has a severe case of a cleft palate. The family has no money to take care of this. Can you help them?
Marvin, we'd be very pleased to do this child.
This is a cleft of the entire lip extending from the lip line all the way to the nose and the palate.
How many operations will it take?
It'll take about 7 operations between now and when the child reaches the teenage. 1 for the lip, which we're going to do right away. In a few months, we'll correct the hard and the soft palate so that fluids don't pass through. And then after that, they'll need ear tubes, orthodontic treatment, and then the nose will have to be fixed.
Dr. Agris, how much do all these operations cost?
Hospital, surgical fees, and anesthesia would probably exceed today $30,000 to $40,000.
And not too many folks have that kind of money. Unfortunately, we have several more cases like this where children with cleft palates need plastic surgery. The families do not have insurance or the money it takes for those delicate operations. I hate to keep putting the load on plastic surgeons like Dr. Agris and Dr. Sparrow, even though they never say no. They're great folks and certainly miracle workers. I guess, Dr. Sparrow, I'll be seeing you next in a few days with another child who needs reconstructive surgery. And thanks to you, Dr. Agris, for helping little Christopher. Marvin Zindler, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Marvin. Still ahead, a mighty powerful Wisconsin housewife. And Bob Allen tells us what's up with running back Mike Rozier.
I'm Alvin Van Black. I just got off the train. Now I'm on the escalator. I'll explain what all this transportation's about.
Once again, it's what the competition is shooting for. Nice shot. The world's fastest aircraft. 1909, the Signal Corps Flyer, 30 miles per hour. 1932, the GB, 300 miles per hour. 1966, the SR-71 Blackbird Mach 3. Today, the DHL Worldwide Express van, faster to more countries than Federal Express, UPS, or any major express company. DHL, faster to more of the world.
Wednesday on the 3 o'clock $1 million movie, climb aboard Hitchcock's Freight Train for a journey of mystery and terror.
I've just spent an unforgettable 4 years here in Bavaria.
You remember the lady I was with?
There has been no English lady here.
There's a woman missing on this train.
Your friend has come back.
Come back? But it isn't her.
Sybil Shepherd, Angela Lansbury, and Elliot Gould in the frantic search when the lady vanishes. Wednesday's 3 o'clock $1 million movie here on 13.
Let's go to sports and Bob Allen and find out what in the world is happening at the Oilers.
We're still trying to figure it out. The first thing that happened is the Oilers waived running back Mike Rozier, just released. They got nothing for him in return. Jeff McShann was at the Oiler offices when they finally made that official announcement.
Oilers general manager Mike Holloway informed the media of his decision to release Mike Rozier shortly after 7 p.m. Holloway said he tried to trade the former All-Pro running back, but his attempts failed.
I tried to trade him. I told you I tried to. All 27, all their 27 ball clubs.
Rozier had been with the Oilers since 1985. He's a two-time Pro Bowler, a former Heisman Trophy winner, a guy liked by his teammates, a guy that didn't ask for a trade, and a guy that wasn't too upset about riding the pine. But nevertheless, Holloway believed he had to go and was uncharacteristically defensive when asked about it.
I'm going to ask you a question. Doesn't 3 backs seem a lot for a game where you only use one? We only use one. We only use one quarterback, but we keep 2. We only use one outside receiver out on the left side, but we keep 2. We only use one on the right side, but we keep 2. We only use one center, but we keep, we have 5 linemen, but we only keep 8. We only have 3 extra to fill 5 spots. Mike, do you sign? Does that answer your question?
The Oilers, who also waived quarterback Don McPherson, will most likely fill their 2 open roster spots Wednesday afternoon. Jeff McShann, 13, Eyewitness Sports.
I only use 4 tires, but I keep an extra one in my trunk. Now, Mike Holloway can't understand why people wonder why he made this move. He said it's a 1-back offense. You only need 2 backs on the roster. He said it was not based on Rozier's $600,000 a year salary. Sorry, but I still don't understand. What if Lorenzo White or Alan Pinkett goes down? Then what? You got 12 games left to play with a legitimate shot at doing big things this season. If you need another back, do you take a chance of bringing someone in who doesn't know the run and shoot system? Mike Rozier is a two-time Pro Bowler, the third leading rusher in Oiler history. He's only 29 years old, and he's still a heck of a football player. You just don't unload a quality football player, and Mike Rozier can still play. If the team wasn't in contention, maybe I'd understand it. I like Mike Kolovec. I like him a lot, but this was not a good move. Going into tonight, the Red Sox magic number to win the American League East was 1. A Red Sox win or a Toronto loss, and they play the A's in the American League Championship Series. Well, Toronto lost tonight. Boston and Chicago were playing. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that one. Melito Perez, wild pitch, scores Boggs, and it's tied at 1. Larry Anderson, the former Astro for the Red Sox, makes a wild pitch. Guillen comes across to score. It's 2-1, Chicago. And Stone, pinch running for Bernansky, scores on the sacrifice fly to center field by another former Astro, Danny Heath. The ball game is all tied at 2. Now we take it to the 11th inning. Ozzie Guillen to right field, scores Karkovice with a go-ahead run. Turns out to be the winning run, 3-2. Chicago wins, and the magic number is still 1, and they each have 1 game left to play. Sam Weiss threw some more fuel on the fire in the controversy over women in the NFL locker rooms. Last night, he barred a female reporter from USA Today from the Bengals locker room after Cincinnati was upset by Seattle. This in the wake of the Lisa Olson incident in New England, where she says she was verbally and sexually harassed by 5 players. Commissioner says there is an open-door policy in the league. He is not happy at all with Weiss's move, and he said that he's going to assess it, and maybe he will fine him stiffly. So we'll see.
We'll find that out later. Thank you, Bob. All righty. Let's look at the weather picture. Ed Brand is here to tell us why it's raining tonight.
That's right. Scattered rain showers around, some of them inside the loop. We'll talk about it next.
The people who buy Mrs. Bear's bread expect it to be fresh. Each morning, we're in a race against time to get Mrs. Bear's bread to you just hours out of the oven. You can really tell the difference. Fresh bread doesn't just feel fresh, it tastes fresh. It's the way Grandmother Baird made it over 75 years ago, and the way we make it today. So, when we say Mrs. Bear's bread is fresh, it's a matter of family pride.
How sure are we that you'll love driving the new Volkswagen Passat? So sure that we'll let you drive it anywhere for up to 3,000 miles, or any place for up to 30 days, whichever comes first. And if you don't come out loving it, we'll give you your money back. That's the Passat Satisfaction Guarantee. Now, how can we be so certain you'll feel so strongly? In a word, Farfignugan. It can turn any drive into a truly uplifting experience. The Passat Satisfaction Guarantee. See your dealer for details.
Every day at Stop and Go, a small group works feverishly, using the finest ingredients, fresh baked breads, fresh meats and cheeses, the freshest produce. So when you get the urge for a quick sandwich, 7 delicious kinds will be right here at your Stop and Go. Great sandwiches, all made fresh every day. New from Stop and Go.
Try the Ham Supreme with ham, American cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and a garden tartar sauce. Another great sandwich from your Stop and Go.
A combination of factors are mixing together to cause rain tonight and a good chance of rain tomorrow. What we have is the remnants of a tropical storm. It's Tropical Depression Rachel moving northeasterly across the northern part of Mexico, a surface trough of low pressure across New Mexico, an upper-level low-pressure disturbance in the southwestern part of the United States, and a cool front moving down across the Rockies. That helps pump a lot of moisture in from the Gulf of Mexico. The result has been rainfall. The remnants of the tropical depression moving in that area right there. Plenty of moisture pumping up into central and west Texas. Flash flood watches are out for most of Texas west of Austin and San Antonio. Galveston radar for the last 12 hours has been picking up continued shower activity. Most of the heavy rain has been out in the Gulf of Mexico. Some of it, as you can tell, in the central portions of the city and also to the south and southeast of downtown. Some of that rainfall is moving inland. Indications are that the rain will continue for part of the day tomorrow, if not much of the day tomorrow. We get a good picture of that tropical storm moving inland over Mexico. They don't normally move in this direction from the Pacific, but as you can tell, that's bringing plenty of moisture in. Some of the precipitation, by the way, falling in Colorado in the form of snow. Snow is forecast in the higher elevations of the Colorado Rockies tonight. This is radar for the past 24 hours. You can tell that parts of West and North Texas have experienced not terribly heavy rains, but sustained rains, so that's why they're under a flash flood watch. Here in Houston, our low temperature this morning was 68 degrees, high this afternoon 89, no rainfall today. At 10 o'clock at Intercontinental Airport, 75 degrees. Here at KTRK 79, at Hobby 76. Humidity 90%, winds easterly at 10, pressure 29.91 and rising. We are also watching out in the Caribbean a tropical wave, a strong tropical wave moving in a westerly direction, 20 to 25 miles an hour. That could become a tropical depression tomorrow. We'll continue to watch it. Low temperatures tonight in the 70s in our area, 60s back to the west and northwest of us. And the national forecast for tomorrow shows all of that activity combining over Houston and to the north of us, bringing us a 50% chance of rain tomorrow. For Galveston Bay, slightly choppy to choppy waters. Offshore, caution is advised to operators of small craft. In our forecast, cloudy with a 50% chance of rain tomorrow. High temperature in the mid-80s. Thursday, cloudy with a 40% chance of rain. Friday, if the front comes through, it'll be sunny and cooler.
Get the front through, would you?
I'm trying my best.
Thank you, Ed. Well, Alvin Van Black gets a good laugh over a good deal, and here is tonight's report.
The American Public Transit Association has been meeting this last week in the George Brown downtown. You know what they brought with them? Look, an entire locomotive. There are 450 companies here from all over the world who sell transit-related products and services. This is the largest expo in history. Buses and railway cars, uniforms, and everything that goes with moving people where they want to go. This is our next stop. And like magic, here we are in the middle of the Western Galleria Ballroom. This great gala going on around us is the Greater Houston Area Home Builders Charity Project Gala. What happened this year was 150 builders and contractors and suppliers donated every single thing from the land to the last little finishing nail for 2 beautiful homes that were then sold. And the proceeds were donated to the Alzheimer's Association and to Texas Children's Hospital. This is Laugh Stop. Now they've installed one of these karaoke machines.
No more saying, y'all, you're on tape. Stop. Because I really love you. Stop. I've been thinking of you. Look in my heart and let love keep us together. Whatever.
For the rest of the holiday season, on Tuesday nights only, you can get into Laugh Stop if you bring 2 non-perishable food items that goes to the Houston Food Bank. So on Tuesday, if you show up, bring a whole sack full. I'm Alvin Van Black, 13 Eyewitness News at night.
Only one optical superstore offers fashionable glasses, custom made, in about 60 minutes. And now, when you use your Sears charge, no payments or billing for 90 days. Only EyeMasters offers all this. Plus, buy 1 pair, get 1 pair free, or save $25 on a single pair. All this with these coupons from your paper. All with your Sears charge. All in about 60 minutes. Get a better look at EyeMasters.
Here's a good as gold photo finishing special. Get a second set of color prints for 99 cents, up to 36 extra prints. Next day, next door, from Walgreens.
Sometimes the rewards are greater when we spend a little time than when we spend a lot of money. That's when you can count on Walmart with a low price on the leading brands like Castrol GTX motor oil, engineered for today's smaller cars. No matter when you shop, you always save on Castrol at Walmart. To get around the high cost of getting around, all it takes is a little effort and a lot of Walmart. Always the low price on the brands you trust. Always.
Finally tonight, Elaine Hitchcock, a middle-aged housewife in Kohler, Wisconsin, has come up with an electrifying idea. She thinks her family ought to have its own hydroelectric company. So she bought one dam and is leasing another. She needs some $800,000 in loans for equipment and startup costs, but she's working on that. If it all comes together, the state will require utility companies to buy her power. If it doesn't, well, it'll just be water over the dam. But Elaine thinks her dam business is going to be a winner. Let's hope so. That's Eyewitness News tonight. Thank you for being with us, and good night.